Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Gaura Dhawanlal and with me is Anita Anand with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs BRICS Summit, says BRICS an influential voice for emerging economies of world. BRICS Summit likely to focus extensively on situation in Afghanistan. Home Minister Amit Shah reviews security and development issues of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir today. Centre to conduct common eligibility test in 2022 to bring entrance examinations to doorstep of candidates. CET to be conducted countrywide initially for posts of Staff Selection Commission, Banking and Railways. India and Denmark jointly launch Centre of Excellence on Offshore Wind as part of Green Strategic Partnership. eShram portal to help government focus on last-mile delivery of welfare schemes for unorganized workers. Civil Aviation Ministry prepares 100-day plan to be more transparent to stakeholders. CBDT extends due dates for filing income tax returns to 31st December. IIT Madras tops rankings in National Institutional Ranking Framework. Over 72 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 97.5%. In cricket, India to take on England in fifth and final test at Old Trafford, Manchester tomorrow. In US Open tennis, Novak Djokovic and Alexander Zverev enter men's semi-finals. And in women's singles, British Emma Raducanu to clash with Greek Maria Sakkari in semi-final, while Canadian Leylah Fernandez to meet Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus in second match tomorrow. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011 239 78046 and 1075. And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that BRICS has had many achievements in the last 1.5 decades, and it is an influential voice for emerging economies of the world. In his opening remarks while chairing the 13th BRICS Summit in virtual format this evening, Mr. Modi said the platform has also been useful for focusing on the priorities of developing countries. He said BRICS has started several strong organizations such as the New Development Bank, Contingency Reserve Arrangement and Energy Research Cooperation Platform. Mr. Modi said it must be ensured that BRICS is more productive in the next 15 years. He said the theme that India has chosen for its leadership is BRICS at 15.
ब्रिक्स ने न्यू डेवलपमेंट बैंक, कंटीजेंसी रिजर्व अरेंजमेंट और एनर्जी रिसर्च कोऑपरेशन प्लेटफॉर्म जैसी मजबूत संस्थाओं का सृजन किया है। निसंदेह गर्व करने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत कुछ है, मगर यह भी महत्वपूर्ण है कि हम आत्मसंतुष्ट न हो और हमें यह सुनिश्चित करना है कि ब्रिक्स अगले 15 वर्षों में और परिणामदायी हो। भारत ने अपनी अध्यक्षता के लिए जो थीम चुना है वह यही प्राथमिकता दर्शाता है। ब्रिक्स एट 15 इंट्रा ब्रिक्स कोऑपरेशन फॉर कंटिन्यूटी, कंसोलिडेशन एंड कंसेंसस। ये 4 सी एक प्रकार से हमारी ब्रिक्स भागीदारी के मूल सिद्धांत हैं।
The Prime Minister said in November the water resources ministers of the 5 member countries will meet for the first time in the BRICS format. Mr. Modi said the BRICS Counter-Terrorism Action Plan was adopted recently and the space agencies of member countries are also working together on remote sensing satellite constellations. He said intra-BRICS trade will get easier with better cooperation between the customs departments of member nations.
हमारी अंतरिक्ष एजेंसियों के बीच रिमोट सेंसिंग सैटेलाइट कॉन्स्टेलेशन समझौते से सहयोग का एक नया अध्याय शुरू हो रहा है। हमारे कस्टम्स विभागों के बीच सहयोग से इंट्रा ब्रिक्स व्यापार आसान होगा। एक वर्चुअल नेटवर्क के रूप में ब्रिक्स वैक्सीनेशन अनुसंधान और विकास केंद्र शुरू करने पर भी सहमति बनी है। ब्रिक्स अलायंस ऑन ग्रीन टूरिज्म एक और नई पहल है। इन सभी नए इनिशिएटिव्स ने न सिर्फ हमारे नागरिकों को लाभ मिलेगा, हमारा ब्रिक्स संगठन भी आने वाले समय में प्रासंगिक रहेगा।
Thanking all members, Mr. Modi said India has received full cooperation from all members during its chairship of BRICS. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that he was delighted to host the virtual BRICS summit in the 15th year of BRICS today. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said BRICS has taken many new initiatives during India's chairship. He called for BRICS to contribute to post-COVID global recovery on the motto, Build Back Resiliently, Innovatively, Credibly and Sustainably. The Prime Minister said the member countries discussed important regional and global issues. He thanked the BRICS partners whose support helped India's chair achieve many firsts. Mr. Modi said BRICS agenda now spans culture and communications, sports and space, disaster resilience and digital health, employment and environment, and more. BRICS nations have reiterated their commitment to enhancing intra-BRICS cooperation under the 3 pillars: political and security, economic and financial, and cultural and people-to-people exchanges. In New Delhi, the declaration was adopted after the 13th BRICS summit. The member countries recalled their shared values of peace, rule of law, respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, and democracy for all. They pledged to promote a more inclusive, equitable and representative multipolar international system with the United Nations at its center.
Home Minister Amit Shah today held a meeting in New Delhi to review the security and development issues of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. He appreciated the initiatives for development taken by the UT administration to fulfill the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and Army Chief General Manoj Mukund Naravane were present at the meeting, among others. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today said the centre will conduct common eligibility test in 2022 with a view to bring entrance examinations to the doorstep of the candidates. He said CET will be conducted for the posts of Staff Selection Commission, Banking and Railways initially in all districts of the country. He said the centre has plans to enhance the gamut of CET to various other exams in due course. Terming this as a huge social reform, the minister said CET would be beneficial to the aspiring candidates. He was addressing the opening ceremony of a 2-day capacity building workshop for senior officials of UT of Ladakh virtually in Leh. The program has been organized by the National Centre for Good Governance of the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Union Minister for Power and New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh met Denmark's Minister for Climate, Energy and Utilities Dan Jorgensen in New Delhi today. Mr. Singh underlined the Danish side that energy transition towards green is an important part of India's policy. He pointed out that Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Independence Day speech had set a target of 450 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2030. The minister went on to say that India's whole renewable energy portfolio is already at 146 gigawatts. He stated that India is the only G20 country whose actions are in consonance with the Paris Climate Agreement with regard to global rise in temperature.
Over 27 lakh unorganized workers have been registered on the eShram portal since its launch. This portal was launched last month and maintains a database of unorganized workers and facilitates better implementation of various social security schemes for their welfare. Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Rameshwar Teli, today said the creation of a national database of all unorganized workers will help the government in focusing on targeted and last-mile delivery of welfare schemes for the unorganized workers. He said the government is actively cooperating and assisting all state governments and other stakeholders for registering unorganized workers on the portal. Mr. Teli urged everyone to spread the word about the portal and the benefits that accrue to those workers registering on the portal. The Civil Aviation Ministry has prepared a 100-day plan on the basis of which it will be answerable to stakeholders transparently. Briefing the media in New Delhi this afternoon, Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said 4 airports will be upgraded and developed in Kushinagar, Dehradun, Agartala and Jewar in Greater Noida. He said the airport in Kushinagar will have the capacity for the successful landing of Airbus 321 and Boeing 737 flights. He added that Kushinagar will become the focal point of the Buddhist circuit.
The Central Board of Direct Taxes has further extended the due dates for filing of income tax returns and various reports of audit for assessment year 2021-22. The decision was taken in consideration of difficulties reported by the taxpayers and other stakeholders in filing of income tax returns and various reports of audit for the assessment year 2021-22. The due date of furnishing of return of income for the assessment year 2021-22, which was earlier extended to 30th of September, has been further extended to 31st of December. The due date of furnishing of report of audit for the previous year 2020-21, which was earlier extended to 31st of October, has been further extended to 15th of January next year. India will be hosting the inaugural India-Australia 2+2 ministerial dialogue on the 11th of this month in New Delhi. Australian Foreign Minister Marise Payne and Defence Minister Peter Dutton will be visiting India from the 10th to 12th of September to take part in the dialogue. From the Indian side, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will lead the delegation comprising officials from the Ministries of Defence and External Affairs. The agenda will cover a range of bilateral, regional and global issues of mutual interest.
IIT Madras has topped the rankings in the overall category in the National Institutional Ranking Framework NIRF. IISc Bengaluru has come second, which is followed by IIT Bombay in the third place in the ranking. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan released the NIRF Rankings 2021 today.
Prime Minister took decision to advise education sector since 2016. This is the 6th year we have a ranking framework. As a quality-conscious visionary leader, he advised the education sector to have a ranking framework in our country.
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs BRICS Summit, says BRICS an influential voice for emerging economies of the world. Home Minister Amit Shah refused security and development issues of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir today. Centre to conduct common eligibility test in 2022 to bring entrance examinations to doorstep of candidates. CET to be conducted countrywide initially for posts of Staff Selection Commission, Banking and Railways. India and Denmark jointly launched Centre of Excellence on Offshore Wind as part of Green Strategic Partnership. eShram portal to help government focus on last-mile delivery of welfare schemes for unorganized workers. Civil Aviation Ministry prepares 100-day plan to be more transparent to stakeholders. CBDT extends due dates for filing income tax returns to 31st December. IIT Madras tops rankings in National Institutional Ranking Framework. Over 72 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 97.5%. In cricket, India to take on England in 5th and final test at Old Trafford. Manchester tomorrow. In US Open tennis, Novak Djokovic and Alexander Zverev enter men's semi-finals. In women's singles, British Emma Raducanu to clash with Greek Maria Sakkari in semi-final, while Canadian Leylah Fernandez to meet Arina Sabalenka of Belarus in second match tomorrow. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The government today said that more than 72 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country till now. Briefing the media in New Delhi, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said the pace of vaccination and coverage is increasing rapidly.
Average per day dose administered has increased from 20 lakhs in May 2021 to 78 lakhs in September 2021. Only the first 7 days of September, and this number is expected to climb even higher.
He said a consistent increase in the recovery rate has been observed, which currently stands at 97.5% as on date. Mr. Bhushan said during the festive time, people need to follow COVID-appropriate behavior. The Director General of the Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Balram Bhargava, said the government is developing a COVID-19 vaccine tracker with synergized data, giving a week-by-week update of doses.
We have tried to develop India COVID-19 vaccine tracker. This has been having the data synergies between COVIN, COVID-19 India portal of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and COVID-19 testing portal also of ICMR, Department of Health Research and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Data have been synergized based on the ICMR identification number and on the basis of mobile numbers, and we have been able to get a vaccine tracker which is going to be online very soon in the Ministry of Health website.
Member Health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul, said it is clear that 2 doses of vaccines are complete protection. He said 58% of people above 18 years have been given single doses, and this should be 100%. Dr. Paul said no one should be left behind.
वैक्सीन हमारी सबसे महत्वपूर्ण शील्ड है और आगे ये हमें प्रोटेक्ट करेगा, डेथ्स को कम करेगा, लाइव्स को बचाएगा. जिन्होंने अपना वैक्सीन नहीं लगाया, वैक्सीन बहुत मात्रा में उपलब्ध है, सब जगह उपलब्ध है, तो ये रिक्वेस्ट है हम सबकी तरफ से कि प्लीज अपना टीकाकरण शुरू करिए.
All India Radio News has been at the forefront of raising awareness about COVID-19 among citizens since the first case was reported in the country. In keeping with its role as the public service broadcaster, the News Services Division of All India Radio started a special public outreach program, Corona Jagrukta series, in March last year. Today, in its 500th episode, Dr. V.K. Paul, chairperson of the National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration for COVID-19, will be with us to address the queries. The program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards.
In yet another major milestone for the Health and Medical Department in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, National Board of Examinations in Medical Sciences, NBEMS, has approved 39 more seats for government medical colleges and district hospitals of J&K. The Minister of State for Jal Shakti, Prahlad Singh Patel, today launched Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2. The Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation will undertake Swachh Sarvekshan Gramin 2021 countrywide to support acceleration of ODF plus interventions and increase momentum for improving ODF sustainability as well as solid and liquid waste management activities across the villages in the country.
The 11-day Ganesh festival will begin from tomorrow in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. People who install the idol of Lord Ganesha at their homes and pandals are busy giving finishing touches to the decorations. In a short while from now, the idols of Lord Ganesha will be welcomed, however, without the usual fanfare. Our correspondent has more details.
In its fresh set of guidelines for Ganeshotsav, the BMC has prohibited offline darshan. Besides, it has said that procession should not be carried out for idols that are installed in households and not more than 5 persons should be part of the group. The height of the idols to be installed in public pandals should be 4 feet. While carrying out the immersion of idols installed in public pandals, there should not be more than 10 persons and all of them should adhere to the COVID-19 protocol. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In the series, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav Celebrations, a book exhibition of important and original authentic publications published by the Ministry of Law and Justice, was inaugurated in the District Judge premises of Varanasi today. The Secretary of Law and Justice Department, Anup Kumar Mehendiratta, said on the occasion, for the benefit of the general public and youth in particular, important journals are now available free of cost in PDF format on the website of the department. He termed it as a unique gift to the students and professionals of the country.
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उद्वेलित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
As the nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, in which we bring you a glimpse of India's freedom struggle every day.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day.
Arjun Lal Sethi, born on this day in 1880, in Jaipur, was a revolutionary freedom fighter and educator. Sethi rejected the post of collector offered to him. He said, if he worked for the British administration, then who will work for the freedom of the nation?
In 1907, he established the Vardhaman Jain Vidyalaya, which became an important center of independence activists. He was given the responsibility of the armed revolution in Rajasthan by Ras Bihari Bose. Sethi scripted the attack on Viceroy Harding.
While serving as headmaster of Kalyanmal Mahavidyalaya at Indore, he was arrested and was kept in custody for 6 years until 1922.
In 1923, his son Prakash was critically ill. Sethi received a telegram urging him to come to Jodhpur immediately. Simultaneously, he received another telegram requesting him to travel to Bombay for meeting with the activists.
He decided to go for the meeting rather than see the ailing son.
The life of Arjun Lal Sethi will continue to inspire the coming generations.
On this day in 1943, 4 brave sons of Mother India were hanged for instigating revolt against the British Empire.
In 1942, the Japanese forces occupied the Southeast Asian region from the British. At the time, the Indian Independence League and the Indian National Army decided to recruit young Indian men to help free India from the British rule with the help of Japan.
In late 1942, 20 trained youths of the League managed to enter India. All of them were arrested soon after entry. 4 of them were sentenced to death for waging war against the king. These 4 sons of Mother India who braved the British might were
Abdul Qadir from Vaikom Travancore,
Satyendra Chandra Bardhan from Tripura,
Anandan from Kerala,
Fauja Singh from Mehsana, Punjab.
அசையும் கொடிகள் உயரும் உயரும் நிலவின் முதுகை உரசும் மனிதா மனிதா இனி உன் விழிகள் சிவந்தால் உலகம் விடியும்.
Abdul Qadir's brave last words in a letter to his father were, "Do not grieve for me. From the eyewitnesses of my death, one day you will learn how calmly and bravely I faced death. You will be proud and happy then." Also on this day in 1918, Shambhu Dutt Sharma, a Gandhian freedom fighter, was born in Punjab. In 1942, at the age of 24, he resigned from the British Indian Army and joined Mahatma Gandhi's Quit India movement.
Shambhu Dutt Sharma was imprisoned many times during freedom struggle. Sharma's team was known as Gandhian Seva Brigade. On 15th of April in 2016, at the age of 97, he passed away.
In 1920, the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College of Aligarh was converted into the Aligarh Muslim University, AMU. Thus, the present year represents a significant moment in the history of Aligarh Muslim University as AMU completes 100 years this day.
The Aligarh Muslim University played significant role in advancement of modern education on one hand and freedom movement on the other. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, published a book under the title of Asbab Bagawat-e-Hind, wherein he criticized the British rulers.
AMU produced many leaders who played an important role in the national struggle, such as Maulana Hasrat Mohani, Raja Mahendra Pratap, Ali brothers, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, to name a few.
Raja Mahendra Pratap Singh went to Germany and floated the idea of setting up a government in exile in Afghanistan in 1915. This was the first exiled government, a revolutionary step that remains a footnote in the history of freedom struggle.
One of the first non-cooperation upheavals was among the students of the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. Reports of these incidents prompted Mahatma Gandhi and Ali brothers to visit Aligarh and appeal to the students to boycott their government-controlled institution.
Captain Abbas Ali, who studied at the AMU, was among few Indians who joined the Indian National Army in Malaya for the liberation of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar, AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In the US Open, number 1 Novak Djokovic inched closer to a calendar Grand Slam as he reached the semi-finals at the US Open, beating Italian Matteo Berrettini in 4 sets last night. He will face number 4 seeded Olympic gold medalist Alexander Zverev in the semi-final clash. In women's group, 18-year-old British sensation Emma Raducanu reached the US Open women's semi-finals. She will now play the 17th seed Greek Maria Sakkari in the semi-final. In the other semi-final, 19-year-old Canadian Leylah Fernandez will meet number 2 seed Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus tomorrow. And in cricket, India will take on England in the 5th and final test, which begins tomorrow at Old Trafford, Manchester. The match will begin at 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time.
And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs BRICS Summit, says BRICS an influential voice for emerging economies of the world. Home Minister Amit Shah reviews security and development issues of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir today. Centre to conduct common eligibility test in 2022 to bring entrance examinations to doorstep of candidates. CET to be conducted countrywide initially for posts of Staff Selection Commission, Banking and Railways initially. India and Denmark jointly launch Centre of Excellence on Offshore Wind as part of Green Strategic Partnership. eShram portal to help government focus on last-mile delivery of welfare schemes for unorganized workers. Civil Aviation Ministry prepares 100-day plan to be more transparent to stakeholders. CBDT extends due dates for filing income tax returns to 31st December. IIT Madras tops rankings in National Institutional Ranking Framework. Over 72 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. Recovery rate stands at 97.5%. In cricket, India to take on England in fifth and final test at Old Trafford, Manchester tomorrow. In US Open tennis, Novak Djokovic and Alexander Zverev enter men's semi-finals. In women's singles, British Emma Raducanu to clash with Greek Maria Sakkari in semi-final, while Canadian Leila Fernandez to meet Arina Sabalenka of Belarus in second match tomorrow. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.